You are. Let's see here. Okay. And all right. Welcome everybody to the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center. Amazing that we're all here after all that snow. That's a miracle in itself. So good for you. Thank you, Greg, for snow plowing us. That's why we're here right now. And let's just, yeah, thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg. Yes, Greg is the reason why we're here, why Greg and I are here today, because he snow plowed all yesterday. All right, you guys, so let's close our eyes and just take a couple of minutes to get present and just feel into this holy encounter. This holy encounter where we have been brought together with our mighty companions to listen to the truth together, that we might be healed by the truth together. Thank you, Spirit, for this opportunity to heal, to be healed together by the truth that we share. Thank you, Spirit. And just notice for a minute or so the feeling of being connected, joined with mighty companions, joined with your equals in God's love. We are equals in God's love. And there is nothing to fear. Because we are joined, there is no lack. Because we are joined with each other and God, there is no death. And so let us feel our union. Let us accept the power and the grace of our union. Let us open our hearts and our minds today to each other and to our Creator who created us, equal, eternal, forever abundant, forever invulnerable. In spirit of truth and spirit of healing, we give to you today this gathering, this joining, this healing circle. And we ask you to be you in charge. Decide for healing and for joy for us. And thank you for the miracles that we know come from your guidance and your direction. Thank you. And let's all take another deep breath. Bring our awareness back to the room. All right. Okay, guys, so where we're going to be at today is a section called Above the Battleground. And I did a random number generator prayer this morning. And as usual, Spirit knew exactly what and so I'm assuming you too, needed to hear. And what I was experiencing in my own self was I was having an experience of myself on a battleground, on a battlefield. I was experiencing myself in a lot of conflict. And right before I did the random number generator prayer, I heard in my mind the phrase, you are not asked to fight against your wish to murder. And you're only asked to remember that's not your will. That's not what you want. And I was like, thank you, thank you. So in other words, don't attack your attack thoughts. You know, it's like you're tempted to attack. You want to attack. Don't attack you wanting to have attack thoughts. Just remember it's not what you want, and choose a miracle instead. And then I did the random number generator and did the 3 books of the text. It brought up the 3 books of the course. It brought up the text. I put in all the chapters. And what did it bring up? It brought it up above the battleground where it says, you are not asked to fight against your wish to murder. And I, of course, just had to laugh. I was like, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Just in case I was, you know, tempted to think that it was me choosing. Thank you. So I dedicate this to you and anyone at any time who may be experiencing a temptation to attack. I'm sure none of you experience that. But when you do, in case you ever do, this is the section that enables you to say no to that temptation and to be able to choose a miracle instead of murder. And it has one of those lines in here where it's very hard to believe, very hard to believe. And what's very hard to believe is where it talks about that all attack is a wish to murder. And it says, what is not love is murder. And I mean, that's one of those lines where you're like, I don't know, there's gotta be some gray area in there, right? Couldn't be that all my attack thoughts are a wish to murder, you know. No, it said, no, what is not love is murder. I was like, okay, all right, well, at least it's coming from you and not from me. So at least I can say I didn't write it. But when you hear what it's saying, you see that what it's saying is true. And it's asking us, it says that the way that you are able to choose a miracle instead of attack, the way you are able to get up off a battleground and experience what's above a battleground, a conflict, is by truly identifying correctly our attack thoughts. You know, don't sugar covering, call them what they are. They are a wish to murder. Our attack thoughts are a wish to murder. And our attack thoughts is what is creating and maintaining the battleground, the conflicts that we perceive that we're on. That's where the battleground comes from. That's what turns your life and your relationships into what feels like a battleground sometimes. You know how sometimes love feels like a battlefield? Anybody ever experienced that? Yeah, and it's chapter 23, section 4. Okay? All right. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys need to know or anything, but I am live streaming on YouTube today, so just in case. So all of you don't have to wait for me to post my Facebook classes and transfer them to YouTube. I'm just starting to do it on YouTube, so save us all some time. Okay, so chapter 23, section 4, and I dedicate this to transforming your battlegrounds, what feels like battlefields in your relationships, to heaven. It's heaven on earth. That is what I dedicate this to for all of us, because that's what I'm looking for. Above the battleground. It says, do not remain in conflict, because there is no war without attack. So the first thing that told me right there is that if I'm not attacking, I'm not going to experience any war. If I'm not attacking, I'm not going to experience war. I'm not going to experience conflict. You know, that the conflict is coming from my choice to remain in conflict. And every time I attack instead of love, that's me saying, I would like to stay in conflict. It's just so fun. It's just so great. I love it. It feels so good. That's what my attack thoughts are. They're my choice to remain in conflict. In other words, my attack thoughts are my desire for war. So where's war come from? Me. my desire to continue to attack, which is my desire to remain in conflict. So that's where it's coming from. It's not coming from them and that and this and that. It's coming from me, my choice. And I just love the reminder, even though it pisses me off first, is that I don't have to remain in conflict if I don't want to. First I was like, you know, like start to twitch, like, you know, what do you mean I don't have to remain in conflict if I don't want to? Don't you see what they did? Don't you know what that means, what they did? What do you mean I don't have to remain in conflict if I don't want to? Okay, so that's just the first line. There is no war without attack. The fear of God, the fear of God is fear of life and not of death. Yet God remains the only place of safety. So safety don't have anything to do with attack. Safety only comes from God. Safety only comes from God. Okay? My attack thoughts are not keeping me safe. Only God keeps me safe. And that's because in God there is no attack. In God there is no attack. That's why God remains the only place of safety, because in God there is no attack, which means no attack in any form stalks heaven. Oh, that's why heaven is so cool. That's why heaven is so fun. That's why heaven feels so good. That's why heaven is heaven, because there's no attack there. No attack is stalking heaven. You know, it's such a great image. You know, what does attack do? Attack stalks you like a mountain lion in evergreen, you know, watching you. But in reality, in God, in truth, there is no attack. No attack is stalking you in the night. So heaven is where you are experiencing no attack. And where you're experiencing no attack, you are experiencing no conflict and no war. That's where I thought I wanted to be until this situation came up yesterday. And I'm like, I think I'd like to exit heaven, yeah, and go hang out on a battlefield for a while. That should be fun. You know, I thought I wanted heaven, and then here came an attack that I wanted to remain with, because it felt so good. Okay? All right. As if my safety could come from anything but love. As if there's something out there that could hurt me or deprive me to the point where I need to defend myself and I need to attack in order to have safety, in order to have abundance, okay? In order to have love. As if, okay? That's what attack means. Attack means I believe that to hurt someone else, it makes me safe. That's what my attack means. I believe that to hurt someone else makes me safe. Just be straight about what attack means. All right. So then it says, heaven is wholly true. That's why there's no attack in heaven. No difference enters heaven or reality, and what is all the same cannot conflict. So, you are not asked to fight against your wish to murder. Okay. Great, good to know. But you are asked to realize the form that your wish to murder, your attack takes, conceals the same intent. So what am I supposed to do with my attack thoughts? What am I supposed to do with them? Hide them? No. Suppress them? No. Pretend I don't have attack thoughts because I'm such a good Course in Miracles student? No. What am I supposed to do with my attack thoughts? Don't fight against them, but recognize that your attack thoughts are concealing the wish to murder. If you were not here, I'd feel better. The wish to murder. If you were gone, I'd feel better. I'd be happy. That's a wish to murder, by the way. And so that's what we're asked to do. This is an attack thought, and this attack thought conceals my wish to murder. It said, don't fight against them. Don't suppress them, repress them, project them. Just recognize what they are. Call them what they are. And don't feel embarrassed or bad that you have wishes to murder, because everybody here does. The reason we experience death and murder so much is because we have murderous thoughts. So don't be ashamed, like, oh my God, I have murderous thoughts. Yes, that's what got you here, and so does everybody else. So nothing to be embarrassed about. Where does death come from? An idea of death. It comes from murder thoughts. So here we are in a world that seems to be dominated by death, so why should we be surprised that we have death thoughts, that we have murderous thoughts? So don't feel ashamed, don't be embarrassed, just call it what it is, okay? And realize that whatever form your attack thought takes, anger, hatred, irritation, there's so many forms that our attack thoughts take, right? You know how when you say to somebody, why are you so angry? Well, I'm not angry. I'm just irritated. I'm just frustrated. It says your attack thoughts your wish to murder takes many, many, many different forms. But he's asking us to recognize that all the forms of attack, whatever form that is, conceals the wish to murder. All right. Then it says, and it is your wish to murder that you fear, not the form it takes. That's what we're afraid of. I have a wish to murder. Wow, that seems really scary about me. It says, that's what we're afraid of. That's what we fear, and not the form of our attack thoughts or our wish to murder. What is not love is murder, period. Why? Because what is not loving must be an attack. That's why. If it's not loving, it must be an attack. So if it's not loving, then what does all attack conceal? A wish to murder. Isn't this a cheery topic for a Sunday sunny morning? All right, what did you learn about my wish to murder? It was so great. I feel so much better. So what is not loving must be an attack. And every attack is an assault on truth. So every time you're experiencing an attack thought, that is an attack on truth. What is it? What is attack? It's an attack on truth. What's an attack thought? It's saying truth isn't true. Fear is true. Murder is true. So every attack thought is an attack on truth. Isn't that interesting? And it says, and same as saying that every attack thought does violence to the idea of love. Why? Because every attack thought seems to be of equal truth. Isn't that true? When we're angry about something, what we're angry about seems to be equal in reality to, like the Course in Miracles. When you're angry about something, what you're angry about, it seems true, right? If somebody says, oh, you're upset about an illusion, you're like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? Oh, well, I'm gonna tell that to you next time you're upset. And we'll see if you agree that you are upset only about illusion, right? So it says that every attack thought does violence to the idea of love, because every attack thought that you are upset about seems to be equal to the truth. That's why you're upset about it. If I didn't think it was true, I wouldn't be upset about it. Isn't that interesting? So it says, but what can be equal to the truth yet be different? So in other words, attack thoughts can never be true. They will never go together. So that means if I am angry and I am having attack thoughts, then what I am thinking about is not true. Well, if that's the case, then why am I upset about it? Right, I'm upset about it because I think it's true, and I think it really did happen, and I think that what I'm upset about is just as equal to what the truth is telling me. Okay, that's why every attack thought does violence to the idea of love. Wow. So I was thinking about that this morning when we were driving in. I'm like, everything that I'm upset about right now is a wish to murder, and it's not true. And I was just like, just like my ego illusion was just like deflating like a balloon. Oh, it is not true. What I am upset about, what I'm angry about is not true. So whatever it is I'm telling myself in this situation that's upsetting me is actually not accurate. It is not the truth of what is going on. It's not the truth about me. It's not the truth about them. It's not the truth about any of it. It's not true. And I could feel my upset and my anger just start to like drain away. I was like, okay. And then I was starting to feel better. Okay, so very interesting. Now, it says paragraph 2, questions or comments?
Kind of explains why I'm never upset for the reason I think.
I'm never upset for the reason I think. Exactly. You could say I'm never upset because of the truth. And boy, when you are upset, that is the last thing that you want to hear. The last thing you want to hear is that, you're upset about nothing, right? Okay, great. I'm going to tell you that when you're upset. See how you like that. That's why it's not really wise to say to somebody when they're upset, you're upset about nothing, right? That's not very wise or loving either.
It's right up there with your overreacting.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like somebody saying, calm down.
Right.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I think I'll calm down now. When has anyone ever calmed down when you're like, calm down? Exactly. It's like, calm down. What I'd really like to do is I'm having a wish to murder right now.
But I think as a course student, what's really helpful there is that we all realize that the ego speaks first and it speaks loudest.
Yes.
And we can recognize that before we understand that these attack thoughts are hiding our wish to murder. We at least first recognize that, I see you. I see.
Yes, and that's exactly what it's saying to do. And that's why better, what a blessing, what a miracle when you have friends who are Course in Miracles students. What a gift, what a miracle, because then you let the Course in Miracles tell them that they're upset about nothing. Let the Course in Miracles tell them. You don't have to. If they're a Course in Miracles student, eventually they're going to put their eyes on this and realize, wow, if I'm upset and I've got attack thoughts, I am literally not perceiving reality or truth, and better that the Course in Miracles tell them than you. So, be very, very grateful and more appreciative today for your friends and that know, of course, these ideas. Because even if they're not knowing them right now, they are going to go back to these ideas which are going to tell them the truth.
I find the easiest way to remember ego is anytime my finger. It's ego. It's your fault. Anything to do with my finger is ego. I'm like, okay, that's ego.
Oh, so anytime the finger comes out.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? It's a perfect metaphor. Every time we're upset, that means we're projecting something. And when we're projecting, what do?
Yeah, we're taking our finger out of our holster.
Literally, it's literally the perfect physical representation of projection. You. That's why when I'm, working with couples, the first thing that I teach them is how to speak in sentences that don't start with you. Never say, and you, blah, 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 blah. Whatever you say after you never, or you always, then whatever you're about to say is not true. It's not going to go well after that.
The funny thing is when you point at somebody, you have three fingers pointing at you.
That's right. That's right. And it's we're in paragraph 2. It says, so, excuse me, what can be equal to the truth yet different? So if attack is equal to the truth, then how could attack and truth be different? So murder and love are incompatible. Oh, really? Isn't that funny? We have to be taught that murder and love are incompatible. Isn't that crazy? That's how crazy we are. We've been taught you only want to murder those you love. That's what we've been taught. And he's like, murder and love, they're actually not compatible. They actually don't go together. We're like, what? Why is it that I only want to murder those I love? Okay, because what we've been calling love has been murder. What we've been calling love has been attack. What we've been taught was love was really fear. That's why. It says, yet if murder and attack and love are both true, so if attack and love are both true, then attack and love must be the same, which means indistinguishable from one another. And that is what we believe about love. We believe that love and attack are equal, the same, and they are indistinguishable. So the minute you fall in love with somebody, you better get ready, honey, for some attack. Right? And then when you've been beat up for 20 years by attack, and you decide, then you're like, I don't ever want to be in love again. I don't ever want to have another relationship again. Has anybody ever had that thought? I don't ever want to have another relationship the rest of my life, because we've all come to make love and attack so indistinguishable that that now we associate love with attack. And so since nobody wants attack, we're like, I just won't have love. I just won't have a relationship ever again. And there were times in my life when that was an ecstatic thought, to not ever have another relationship again. I was like, yeah, sounds great. Because I need a break from attack. But, attack and love do not go together. They are incompatible. So whenever you were ever experiencing attack, now you can realize that was not love. So now, if you could pull attack and love apart, then you could stop being afraid of love. And if you think love and attack go together and are indistinguishable, then how are you, and you're afraid of relationships with others, how terrified are you going to be of God? God, who's supposed to be the ultimate love. So if love and attack are one, then what is God, the ultimate love? The ultimate murder. That is why that's why I mentioned the fear of God. We have a fear of God because we think God is a murderer. We do. And so we're afraid of God. But we're also terrified of each other. Now we're all afraid of, quote, love. Now we're all afraid of our relationships. Because now relationships equal attack. I'm in love. Okay, here we go. Get out the boxing gloves.
So it reminds me of my thoughts have no meaning. Because, it's what happened to me that I will project
Yes.
on the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thoughts really have no meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Does this apply to this?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because our thoughts have been that love and attack are equal, they're one, and they are indistinguishable. That's what our thoughts have been. And so, yes, our thoughts are meaningless in that regard. What we understand, our thoughts about love, yes. If you see love and attack as equal and indistinguishable, now love is meaningless. The idea of love is meaningless to me. Now I don't know what love is. All I know now is attack. And so now the relationship's going to be about compromise and negotiating and you know, and doing all this, you know, kind of dance. The judgment dance, you know, the sacrifice dance, where we're always trying to get a sacrifice balance. Like, okay, the amount that I'm sacrificing this relationship and the amount you're sacrificing, it's kind of reached a little balance. Okay, now we're good. Okay, don't anybody move. You know, true. And so if we want to experience real love, which is heaven, then we have to do what it's teaching us here, which is to learn that love and attack are incompatible. They are not equal. They do not ever go together, which means if you are experiencing an attack thought in whatever form, do not call it love. Stop calling it love. Don't go, well, I'm only doing this because I love you. Don't say that anymore. And when someone says it to you, don't believe it. Don't go, oh, right. You're only wanting to murder me because you love me. Right. You know, don't believe it anymore. Don't use it. Don't accept it. Don't believe it. Learn that when you're attacking and you're angry and you're having murderous thoughts in the form of irritation or whatever, that's just an attack thought. That's not a loving thought. Don't attack yourself for it. Just realize, oh yeah, attack isn't what I want. Oh yeah, what I want is love. Oh yeah. So that's the way to finally tease them apart, so that you can so that you can experience someday real love. And what is real love? It's characterized by no attack. What is heaven? It's a place where it's a state of mind where there's no attack. That's what heaven is. That's what love is. It's an experience of no attack.
One of the problems is having to redefine in your mind what love is.
Exactly, and that's what
Because the world tells us one thing, and we have to come up with
Exactly.
a completely different
interpretation. And so from this section, you could say, love is no attack. Love means no attack. You know, so, you know, let that be the meaning of love now. Let that be our interpretation of love. No attack. Okay, at least now you're getting warmer. You're getting warmer to the real thing. And what is love? Love is heaven. Love is a place and a state of mind where you don't feel stalked by attack. Where you're not like, oh, who's going to attack me next? Oh, are you going to attack me next? Oh, you're going to attack me next? Oh my God. You know, everywhere I look, there's attack.
We tend to connect that love has to do with action and doing.
Yes, exactly.
If you do this,
Yes.
that means I'm loved.
Exactly. In other words, if you sacrifice like this, then I will perceive it as love. But there's only one thing and one thing alone that sacrifice produces, and it ain't love. It's a grievance. So when you say, if you love me, you will do such and such, what you're saying is that if you will love me, you will have a grievance with me. You know, it's...
So we have to sacrifice.
We have to sacrifice. Very good.
Yeah.
Us as a body. So if you see your
get like a pain or
Yes.
a nation or
Yes.
a cold or just like attacking myself when I start to feel really good about
Mhm.
myself. Like you had said a long time ago, your ego is not your amigo.
Yes.
You know?
Your
So
ego is
true.
not your amigo.
Like all of a sudden I'm starting to feel really powerful and then my body is starting to hurt.
Yes. Exactly.
It's like I'm attacking myself.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep, good to know that. All right. Okay, great. Now we're in paragraph 3. God does not share God's function with a body. Why? Because God gave the function to create to us because it's God's own function. And so our function is to create. God was given by God. Now, it's not sinful to believe that your function is murder, but it is insanity, okay? So it's nothing to feel guilty about. You know, when you are attacking, when you are in judgment, you are believing that your function is to murder. When you're judging, when you're attacking, you're like, I gotta survive here. Survival of the fittest, baby. That's why I'm attacking. So when you're attacking, you are believing that attack, which is a cover for murder, is your function. Like, I got to survive, right? Isn't that what we believe in the world, in the body, and in our relationships? If I don't attack, man, people are gonna take advantage of me. If I don't defend myself, people are gonna take advantage of me. I need to let them know that's not okay, right? And so, you know, was he saying that it's not a sin to believe that your function is attack, but it is insanity. And what is the same can have no different function. Creation is the means for God's extension, and what is God's must be yours as well. So either the creator and the creation are murderers, both, or neither of us are murderers. Why? Because life makes not death, because life creates like itself. So if you are a murderer, then God is a murderer. If God is a murderer, then you are a murderer. If God attacks, then you are attack. You are an attack thought, okay? That's just the way it is, because life doesn't make death. So if God is a murderer, then if God isn't a murderer, then neither are you. Okay, so your function isn't to attack. You don't need to attack to survive. God doesn't need to attack to survive. And so you don't need to attack to survive. And let's talk about something that we really need to know in our relationships. You know, in the situation I was going through yesterday, I literally felt like I needed to attack. You know, I was like, I gotta defend myself. I gotta stand up for myself in this situation. This is not right, you know. But the truth is that I don't, and that I didn't, and that, you know, that I don't need to attack to be safe. I don't need to attack to be loved. I don't need to attack to have. I don't. No, that's not necessary. Because life doesn't make death. Life only creates like itself. All right. Now it goes on to talk about our relationships with each other. So, and it says, the lovely light of your relationships is like the love of God. So it's not attack that's like God. It's not defending yourself and murdering that's like God. What is like God? What is like God's love? The loving light of our relationships. Isn't that interesting? What is like God? The loving light of our relationships. So the love between us that is radiant, the love that moves between us, the lovely light of our relationship, that's what's like the love of God. Not murder, not attack. You know, we've come to think of God as like this judgmental, like, you need to behave because you're bad. An attack. That's what we think of God as, an attack, that God attacks for our good. But that is not how God is. The way God is the way we love each other. That's what's like God. Not the judgmental, attacking authority figure who needs you to obey or else. Right. That's not what God is like. the lovely light of our relationships is like the love of God. Isn't that an interesting concept? And it says, but the lovely light of our relationships cannot yet assume the loving function that God gave us. Interesting. God gave us what? The function of loving each other. Extension, creation. That's what extension and creation means. Not that I make some nice knickknacks. The function of creation that God gave me is to love each other like I have been loved by my Creator. Isn't that interesting? And it says that our relationships cannot assume their loving function that God gave us because our forgiveness of each other is not complete as yet, and so our forgiveness of each other cannot be extended to everyone, to all creation. Very, very interesting. So we fulfill our function of creating that like our Creator creates by loving each other and then allowing that love to extend from our relationships to everyone, to all of creation. That's how we create like God, like we were created. Who knew? I thought my creative function meant that I would make some nice things, some cool things, right? You know, but my function that was given me by my Creator is to love others, and that our love would extend from our relationship to everyone. That's our function. Now, it says, and each form of murder and attack that still attracts us and that we don't recognize for what it is limits the healing and the miracles that we have the power to extend to everyone. Okay. So our function is to extend loving miracles to everyone, right? That's our job. That's our function. That's what we were created to do, is to extend love, to be loving. And what feels better than being loving? Anything? Not even chocolate ice cream. You know, nothing feels better. Nothing is more healing. Nothing is more repairing. Nothing is more sustaining. Nothing is more empowering. Nothing is more ecstatic. Nothing is more supplying of everything that we want. Nothing is more heavenly than loving each other, and then our love going from our relationship to all of creation. That is heaven. There's nothing that feels better. No power, no money, no fame, no physical pleasure, no specialness. There's nothing. Because when you are doing that, you are fulfilling the function that you were created to fulfill. You know, and every single attack thought, which is covering the wish to murder, limits that love. It limits that love. I'm not feeling love for anybody right now. You know, it limits. And so if your superhero love power is loving others, then every attack thought is literally, what does it say? It is limiting the heaven, the ecstasy, the beauty, the power, the joy, the abundance that you do have the power to give and receive. Every attack thought is limiting that. Every attack thought, which is a cover for my wish to murder, is literally limiting the ecstasy, the heaven, the joy, the abundance, the healing, the ecstasy that I do have the power to extend to everyone, not just some, but everyone. Okay, good to know. Good to know. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. And so in any situation in which you're upset, you could literally say, my attack thoughts in this situation, my attack thoughts are making me feel more afraid. You know, in any situation, or you could say, my forgiveness in this situation is the only thing that's going to make me safe. Like I said, God is the only safety. So the only thing that's going to make me feel safe and make me feel good right now is the opposite of attack thoughts. So just don't attack. Right now, in this situation, I could feel good, feel safe, feel loved, feel confident, feel abundant if I just don't attack.
In my defenselessness, my safety lies.
In my defenselessness, my safety lies. In my defenselessness, my abundance lies. You know, so in other words, what was that? The first line, it says, you don't have to remain in conflict. And the way out of conflict is to don't attack. So if you don't know, war, conflict brings no abundance, no joy, no peace, lack, loss, and death. And so in any situation in which you feel threatened in any way, shape, or form, all you have to do to experience the safety and the peace and abundance of truth and God is don't attack. Even if you really, really want to. Even if you really want to murder, but you don't, you get all the rewards. I love that. It's a perfect plan. I get to have my wish to murder. I don't have to fight against it. I just don't act on it. All right, now that's a plan for people like us, you know, who are still addicted to our attack thoughts, but also have recognized that all of our suffering is coming from our attack thoughts.
Just go to the smash room.
Exactly. Go to the smash room, whatever that is.
Anna, would you say that judgment and attack are synonymous?
Yes. Remember it said all the forms that your wish to murder takes, or all the forms that attack takes many, 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 many different forms. You know, and since we're like trying to be good, spiritual, enlightened people, we go, I don't hate anyone. You know, I don't wish to murder anyone. You know, and then we say, I may be irritated with that person. I may be frustrated with that person. But the Course in Miracles is asking us to realize that underneath all the forms of attack is the wish to murder. It's of course called the thin veil that's pulled. That's a thin. That was it. The thin veil. Something that thinly veils something.
Over
Yes.
intense fury?
Yes,
Yes.
intense fury. Thank you.
Yes.
The thin veil over intense fury.
We're just changing verbs.
Exactly. It's like,
That's all
I'm
I'm saying.
just really frustrated with that person. Because a spiritual person like me would never wish to murder anyone. Ha ha. And then all her friends laughed. Ha ha. Yes.
So to pick up on the language from last week or the week before, your lesson, your class 2 weeks ago, what we're saying here is do not act out of our weakness.
Yes.
Our weakness is the call to attack.
Yes.
And as long as we don't act on that
it.
weakness, we're automatically choosing
Our strength.
our strength.
We're choosing, we're siding with the strength within us. Exactly.
Excellent.
Like you said, you know, so don't fight against your wish to murder. Don't fight against your attack thoughts. If you suppress them and repress them and pretend you don't have them, then they're just going to sit there and continue to produce war, conflict in your life. Just because you pretend that you love everybody is not going to produce, you know, the lack of conflict in your life that you desire and you deserve.
I always get kicked when I help someone with the 12 steps and they come up to the part where they have to write down resentments. And they tell me, I don't have any.
I love that one too.
Or,
Yeah, that's great.
or it comes to, you know, list of all the people where you harm, and I said, and they say, oh, I haven't harmed anyone.
You're right, exactly. This person is really unconscious, and then you back away slowly. from that person. Okay, all right, but I'm not gonna drive with you in your car. Because I don't wanna be around when all your unconscious attack thoughts come back for you. You know, so I'm not being.
Usually you can start them off, it's like, okay, you don't have any resentments, okay? Do you have any resentments against God? And usually that's the first one on the list.
Oh, okay, yeah, I love that. Yes, but those grievances they're like cockroaches that, you know, are scurrying around in the dark, and when you turn on the light, they're all gone. You know, when the Course in Miracles says, now we're gonna look at your grievances, all of a sudden you're like, I can't think of any. And all of a sudden you're like, you know, enlightened. I can't think of any. It's like, because they've all scurried, you know, when you turned on the light, which was the intent to look on your wishes to murder. So, you know, so you could see the truth, and then they scatter away. What grievances? So, all right, so now again, it's telling you now some more instructions about when your mind becomes darkened by the temptation to attack, okay? So it says, when the temptation to attack rises, and notice it didn't say if. It did not say if, it said when. When the temptation to attack rises to make your mind darkened and murderous, remember, you can see the battle, this conflict from above. Okay? It didn't say, you know, try to forget about it, not think about it. It says, remember something about it. Remember, you can see this, you can see it from above if you want to. So it's like, and then you're like, no, I really don't want to look about it I want to stay on the battlefield and fight. Okay? But you can see this conflict from above if you want to. And even in forms you do not recognize the signs of the temptation to attack, you do recognize, okay? Even in forms you don't recognize, the signs you know. Signs of what? Temptation to attack. What are the signs of a temptation to attack? Well, there's a stab of pain. I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they said that. They did what? There's a stab, and usually it's right around in here. Or right here, right? Where do you feel that stab of pain? Here or here? Okay. Also, the other sign of a temptation to attack that you will recognize, that you do know, is a twinge of guilt. Well, what did I ever do to them? What did I ever do to deserve that? And above all, a loss of peace. These are the signs that you are tempted to attack, the signs that your mind has become dark with murderous thoughts.
If this were different, I'd be happy.
What'd you say?
If this were different, I'd be happy.
Yes, if this were different, I'd be happy. You know, those are all the signs, and the signs that you know. Those are all signs we all recognize, okay? When you get the signs that the temptation to attack is rising to make your mind dark and murderous, then it says, this you know well, when these signs occur, do not leave your place on high, which means looking above the conflict, but quickly choose a miracle instead of murder. All right, I want to murder, but I'm going to choose a miracle. I want to murder, I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to choose a miracle instead. Okay? And that's the instructions. And then when you do that, when you go, I want to murder, but I'm going to choose a miracle instead, this is what happens. God Himself and all the lights of heaven will gently lean to you and hold you up. Hold you up above the battle, above this conflict. Why? Why will God Himself and all the lights of heaven gently lean to me and hold me up? Because I have chosen to remain where God wants me to be. And where does God want me to be? And where no anger, where no hurt, where no attack can attack the peace of God together with me. That's where God wants me to be. In reality, in heaven, where there's no attack, where we're all beyond attack. That's where God wants us to be. So if you decide not to attack and to choose miracle instead of murder, then now God's going to help you be where God wants you to be, which is in a state of mind where you're not feeling stalked by attack, where you're not feeling attacked, where you're not feeling vulnerable to being hurt or being attacked. That's where God wants you to be. And where is that? That's heaven. That's reality. That's your natural state. And that's why if you choose a miracle instead of murder, God himself and all the lights of heaven will go, come here, baby. Come over here and just breathe. You can look down on that conflict. That conflict's way down, long way down there. Can't even see it anymore. Come over here. That's what God and all the lights of heaven will do for you. Does that sound good?
Yes.
That sounds like a hell of a lot better than what I was experiencing when my mind became darkened with murderous urges, murderous desire, murderous attack thoughts. Big contrast. Isn't it great to know that you don't have to stay in that dark place of attack and attack thoughts? Full of attack thoughts, for you to others, and them for you. You don't have to stay on the battleground. You can be lifted up. It's not like where I have to climb above the battleground, throw me a rope, I hope there's some finger holds. Literally, you will be lifted up and held up just from your wish for miracles instead of murder in that situation. Isn't that profound? And it is a miracle that I feel lifted up and peaceful today relative to the experience that I had yesterday. Yesterday I'd be like, there's no way that I'm gonna be lifted up and look on this one with peace. But it's true, it's real. Yes, Barbara?
What is coming to mind when you're talking about grievances, and of course you mentioned
Yes.
defensiveness, and then what is coming to my mind, a grievance is any time I'm not accepting something, or I see a difference, or I think that there's something wrong.
Yes, that's right.
And that's a grievance, when I'm not accepting things exactly as they are. And it reminds me of paragraph 18 in lesson 135. What could you not accept if you but knew that everything that happens, all events, past, present, and to come, are gently planned by your Creator? And I remember that sometimes.
Yeah, right before the miracle.
Thank you.
Right before the miracle.
That was another thing that your talk is reminding me of. That's a call for a miracle.
Yes, it's a call for a miracle, exactly. And every time we feel the signs of a temptation to attack, every one of those is a grievance. Every one of those is, I wanted something to be different so that I could be happy. And how dare they, not go along with my plan for my happiness, right? So every time that I feel the signs of temptation to attack and murder, it's because of a grievance. That's what a grievance is. So you could say every time your mind becomes darkened by a grievance, every time you have a murderous thought because of a grievance, then here's what you could do so that you yourself, where God himself reaches down and lifts you up himself with all the lights of heaven. Dang, what a deal. I didn't have to do anything except choose. All I had to do was decide that murder is not my will and decide that I would prefer a miracle instead of murder in this situation. That's all I had to do. So little, so little. Because when I decide I want miracles instead of murder, that I want to be happy and loving instead of right, then now my will is in alignment with what God wants for me and everyone, and then God makes it happen. To me, the Course in Miracles offers the best deal that ever was. There's no better deal that was ever offered to a soul in creation than this deal that we're being offered. All you got to do is this: choose miracles instead of murder, and we'll take care of everything else. Pick you up in the ultimate cosmic universal limo and take you to heaven.
Amen.
Amen. Send me that limo. Bye, sweetie. Good to see you. All right. Okay, so now we're in paragraph 8, and we're going to go to 12:30 if you need to go. Bye, sweetie. Then that's all good. In other words, in paragraph 8, think what is given to those who share their Creator's will. That's exactly what we were just saying. Think about what was given to you who share God's will. And those who know that God's will is their will. Okay, let's think about what is given to those who share God's will. Okay, what is given to those who share God's will? Well, they want for nothing. They want for nothing. When I want what God wants, like when I want miracles instead of murder, now I want what God wants, and now I want for nothing. Whew. And I think that's a lot better deal than what I was trying to get through conflicting and attacking. In the situation where I was attempted to attack, I was trying to get being right and being acknowledged and being whatever, getting my rights, what I was trying to get from the battlefield, that is nothing compared to getting it all, where all of what I want is met. Much better deal. What I was trying to get by fighting over here, hey, my rights, blah, blah, blah. What I was trying to get over there is zilcho compared to
The peace of God.
the peace of God. I want for nothing. Imagine a state of mind, an experience where you want for nothing. I can't even imagine it, but sounds good. I'm gonna go with that. He says, not only that, but when your will and God's will are one, then sorrow of any kind is inconceivable. All right, sounds great. And only the light you love is in awareness, and only love will be shining on you forever. That is what you're going to experience when your will becomes and God's will become one. And what's God's will? That you choose miracles instead of murder when you're tempted to attack. And this love, this light that you love, that's in your awareness and shines on you forever, this light and love, that's your past, your present, and your future, always the same, eternally complete and wholly shared. And then you're going to know that it's impossible that your happiness could ever suffer change of any kind. Now, perhaps you think that this conflict can offer you something you can win. Of course, why are you going to fight in a conflict unless you think there's something to win here? In the conflict I was having, it was like there was something to win. And that's why I was willing to fight, right? He says, perhaps you think that this conflict can offer something you can win. But whatever it is you think that this conflict, that you could win in this conflict, can it be anything that offers you a perfect calmness and a sense of love so deep and quiet that no touch of doubt can ever mar your certainty, and that this peace and love so deep will last forever? Like if I had gone into that conflict and won, see, I proved that I was right and that they had wronged me. I was right. Now, okay, let's say I went and I triumphed. I won. All right, I won. Now, whatever that win that I got in that conflict, is that win, can it be anything that offers me a perfect calmness and a sense of love so deep and quiet that nothing can ever mar my peace? Hell no. Exactly, no. Whatever I won in that war, in that battle, what would it do? Just create more conflict. Now I have 20 different conflicts. Now I have 20 different fights with 20 different people. You know, that would be my reward for winning that fight. I won. All right. Well, now what? Look at the conflicts lining up in front of you. Now you got to battle them and them and them and them. Wow. So let's remember that when you're tempted to fight, when you're tempted to engage in the conflict, stay on the battleground and fight and win something, which is the only reason we stay in a conflict, right? It's because I'm gonna win. I'm righteous in this. That whatever you're gonna win in that fight is not gonna be something that is gonna be even close to a perfect calmness and a sense of love so deep and quiet that no touch of doubt can ever mar your certainty. And it will last forever. Remember that. So that you don't go fight in that war, in that battle, on that battleground, and lose it all. Even if you win. In war, nobody wins. Nobody. No, when was there ever a time that there was a war and then someone won and then everyone was better off? And even the people who won the war, are they better off? Hell no, because the descendants of the people that they vanquished are now coming after them. So there is no winning in war. There is no good that ever comes out of a fight, whether it's between you and another human or nations against nations.
Or a civil war.
Or a civil war, exactly.
We're experiencing 130 years later. What's the prize of that?
I tell you what, we are slow learners. We are slow learners. What'd you say?
Why do they call it civil?
Yeah, exactly. Why do they call it civil? Exactly. Ain't nothing civil about it.
It's an ego joke.
Yeah, it's an ego joke. It's like the Patriot Act, you know. We always call things the opposite of what they are, or a holy war, exactly.
Military intelligence.
A family vacation. Exactly.
Anytime with your favorite friend.
Yes, that's right. All right. So and now we're gonna do the last paragraph, and then we'll chat a bit and go on back out into the lab and see and practice. Have lots of opportunities to practice. Okay, so those with the strength of God in their awareness, these folks could never think of battle. So you never even think of fighting or being in conflict with another if you have the strength of God in your awareness. Where does the strength of God exist? In your awareness. Okay. Now, those who have the strength of God in their awareness, what could they gain but loss of their perfection in a battle? Because everything fought for on the battleground is of the body, meaning something the body seems to offer or something the body seems to own. That's what every fight is about. Every fight. Whether it's you and another person or nation, everything we fight about is always about the body. It's always about an illusion. Everything we fight over is of the body, which means it is an illusion. We're always only fighting over illusions. Because what's true, everybody has and has equally forever. So the only thing you would ever be fighting over is something of the body, which isn't even real, which doesn't last. And anything you get from fighting over something relative to the body is never something that will truly make you happy, ever. Okay? These things we need to know so that we don't go down on the battlefield and fight, that we don't go down into conflict and fight with each other over things that don't matter and that can't make us happy, any of us. These are the things we need to remember so we don't take that temptation to fight, to go into battle, and to keep that war going by attacking. This is what we need to remember. It says, no one who knows that they have everything could seek for limitation, which means no one who knows they have everything could value the body's offerings. So if I knew I had everything, I would not even value what the body offers, so I would see no need to fight for it, to fight over it, whatever it is. You know, whatever the body can yield, it is not anything close to, remotely, the peace of God. Okay. Good to know. The senselessness of conquest is quite apparent from the quiet sphere above this conflict. So the senselessness of conquest is quite apparent from the quiet sphere above this conflict. What can conflict with everything? And what is there that offers less, yet could be wanted more? Who, in other words, who would the love of God upholding them could find the choice of miracles or murder hard to make? Wow. So when you have the awareness of love and truth in your mind, then it's very easy to say no to the temptation to attack over something of the body. And all attack is all about conquest of something related to the body. Wow. So beautiful. I just absolutely, profoundly hear the answer to all conflict and to all war and to the effects of war. You know, what are the effects of war? Of course, it says screaming, dying, shattered limbs, you know, and death. You know, whether that's a world war or a personal war, the effects of war is utter devastation. And all for what? The conquest of what? Something about the body that lives not even half as long as a tree. You know, the body, not even half as, lives not even half as long as a tree. Yes.
So I just wanted to point out the real idea that came to mind this morning, that what we're talking about with attack is really an intentional and very vicious feedback to keep us believing that we're bodies instead of spirit and a mind.
Very good.
If I'm attacking, then I'm limiting myself to a body, conquering other bodies, and completely forgetting that I'm a holy child of God, that I'm a mind that can associate itself with my Creator or with an ego body.
Exactly.
That I have a choice in this matter. And by choosing attack, consciously or unconsciously most of the time, I am implicitly choosing to be a body and stay here on the battleground.
And stay on the battleground. That's why the ego's one goal is that we would attack. And it doesn't care who we attack and how we attack and why we attack. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. All the ego wants is for us to attack. You know, attack ourselves, attack each other, attack, it doesn't matter, don't care. Then, and because as long as we are attacking each other, then the ego wins. You know, because there's only one thing that benefits from war, and it's not us. It's not the people fighting the battle. You know, it's the ego that lives off of fear. It's the belief and the idea of separation that now seems to live on.
Edging God out.
Edging God out. Yes. So,
Say that again?
ego.
Edging God out.
Did you got out?
You know, it's really interesting reading the chorus for so many years, how it opens up the beauty of the Bible, the stories of the Bible. And I was thinking about how we were given these 10 commandments, but they were all thou shalt not.
Right.
And Jesus had 2 commandments, and they were thou shalt.
Yes.
Thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart and your soul. And thou shalt love others the way I have loved you. And you think about that, if you do the first one, you cover 1 through 4, and you do the next one, you do 5 through 10. But he never talked about attack. It was all about love, 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 and I know that sounds redundant, but
Yes.
we need to be.
Yes,
keep in our head.
yes, indeed, absolutely.
And
Thank
it's
you.
not new age, it's old thought.
Yeah, it's not-
He said it 2,000
it's
years
not
ago,
new
and
at
we
all.
just didn't get it.
That's right. It's nothing new about the truth, you know. The truth is older than the illusion,
Yes.
you know. Beautiful. I just love it, love it, love it. Beautiful. Any other thoughts, questions, or comments?
And,
Yes.
just like, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, Steve, I think. When he said, like, when the Lord's Prayer says, lead us not into temptation, it kind of reminds me of chapter 31, section 8, when they talk about temptation, how we identify with the body. You know, like he says, would you be this?
Yes,
You know, instead of the Holy
exactly.
Son of God, would you be this?
Yes, exactly.
So.
Would you
that's-
be this weak and miserable thing if your true self appeared before you? You know, asking you to, would you take your place among the saviors of the world, or stay in hell and keep everybody else here with you? Yeah. And I loved also hearing and being reminded that our function here is not to fight and win anything. You know, even if it, you know, our function is not to, like, the battle for survival, I won, I survived, yay, battle of survival of the fittest. That is not our function here, is to fight for the right, you know, to live, you know, fight with each other and fight against the elements. What we were created to do is not fight to survive. We were created to be loving, to love others the way we have been loved, and to love others and then allow that love to extend from them onto creation. And that is when we are fulfilling our function, doing that instead of attacking, instead of fighting, then we will want for nothing. We will experience the ultimate happiness, the ultimate security, the ultimate joy, and we will want for nothing. No lack, no lack. Yes.
And also, I think, for me, it's a reminder of how Jesus is saying the same thing over and over again, which is choose a different teacher.
Yes.
And that really choosing the miracle or picking to be above the battleground is a great example of forgiveness.
Absolutely. That's a perfect metaphor for what forgiveness really means. You know, and when you are tempted to attack and when your mind becomes murderous, because you can tell by the signs, remember you can see this conflict from a higher place if you want to.
Yeah.
If you want
Choose
to.
again.
If you want to, you can. Notice it didn't say choose to see it from above. It says remember you can. Remember you can.
You can have a miracle or madness.
Yeah, exactly. Miracles or murder. What's it gonna be? Miracles or murder? You know.
Choice is yours.
The choice is yours. You know, and don't worry, you'll always get another chance to choose again if you give that to yourself.
We can choose to attack, or we can extend the good, the beautiful, and the holy.
Exactly. And all we have to do is remember that we can do that if we want. You know.
And how insane it is not to choose. Exactly.
Exactly. It said, who would the strength of God and their awareness could find the choice of miracles instead of murder hard to make? You know, for who is that a difficult choice? Well, yesterday was a difficult choice for me. Yesterday was like, I don't know, I mean, you know. And that's how you know when you are being tempted, where your mind has become darkened with murderous thoughts, where now it seems like a difficult choice to make, you know, forgetting that you can win nothing of any real value from a battlefield, from a fight. Nothing. Not even if you win. I won, you know. Everyone agrees. Beautiful. All right, well, let's do our love offering. We've got about 5 more minutes. Let's do our love offering and some announcements, and then I'll just do a couple of minutes of an integration meditation where we take the ideas and use them. How about that? There's no more practical or useful ideas than these. All right, so announcements are my Monday night Practical and Healing Applications of Course in Miracles class for the winter is online. And so now I'm going to be, that class is every Monday, 7 p.m., and I'm going to be doing it on my YouTube channel. So every Monday night, 7 p.m., live on my YouTube channel. On my YouTube channel. And then in the spring, I'll think about coming back in person on Monday evenings at 7 p.m. On Sundays and Tuesdays, Greg and I do Transforming Relationships Through A Course in Miracles. And it will either be on my Facebook page or my YouTube page. Haven't decided which one.
You left us out.
All right. So, that said, and the list of all of our class times is in the body of this video. And if you are watching this on YouTube and you would like to join in extending this message out to the world, then like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing this world-saving message with the world. All right, so close your eyes and take a breath. And just tune in and just feel what it feels like within you to be listening to these ideas with all of these beautiful, radiant beings surrounding you, holding you up, joining your efforts. How does that feel? Just breathe it in. Notice how the truth feels when you listen to it. Even without fully believing it, notice how it feels to listen to the truth. Beautiful. Now I want you to bring to your awareness a conflict in which you have been feeling tempted to attack. A situation or a relationship where your mind had become darkened with attack thoughts. Somewhere in your experience where you felt the need to fight for survival or fight for the right. Somewhere, where is it recently where you experienced the signs of the temptation to attack, a stab of pain, a touch of guilt, and above all, a loss of peace? Where is it that you have experienced that now or recently? Beautiful. Now, remember, tell yourself, I can look upon this from above if I want to. Tell yourself, I could see this from a higher perspective if I wanted to. And then look upon the conflict below you and notice that the fight is something about the body. Something the body gets or has or does. Power, fame, money, specialness, prestige, being liked. It's all the fighting is over an illusion. Something that's not real. And tell yourself, these attack thoughts are not true. My attack thoughts, their attack thoughts are not true. Only love is true in this situation. And then I want you to say to yourself, I choose miracles instead of murder in this situation. I choose a loving thoughts instead of attack in this situation. Choose differently. Decide. And now I want you to see if you can feel or sense God with all of God's love and all the lights of heaven leaning down to lift you up, holding you up, and offering you everything. Everything. I want you to see if you can feel how in this holy instant, because of your choice, you now want for nothing. You are complete. You are whole. You want for nothing. What does that feel like? Be held up and supported by God and all the lights of heaven. And now you know you want for nothing. You have it all. This is heaven, a state of mind of completion and abundance. And all for just not choosing to attack. Breathe it in. that, we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for that. All right, when you're ready, breathe. I love it. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube and Facebook. I appreciate you all so much. Thanks for liking and sharing and subscribing. Appreciate you guys. See you next time I see you.
And have some snacks.
Yeah.